So it's about two um, parrot heads in South Florida, sort of considering what it means to be reaching the end of their lives and their discussions around agency, both in life and death, and looking backwards and forwards, kind of considering their love story. And ultimately, it's a dark comedy about the things that scare me and I think scare a lot of folks about getting older, but also a celebration of love and marriage and this very strange subculture that are hardcore Jimmy Buffett fans. So, in my family, all four of my grandparents dealt with dementia to some extent and talked for a long time about what, uh, if anything, they could do to sort of prepare themselves or to manipulate the situation because they had watched their parents and their siblings go through similar things, and I got sort of interested in this relatively new problem, right, of people living for a lot longer than they used to, and what is quality of life, and what does it mean to have people that you love, or even yourself headed towards something that you don't want for yourself, and how can you sort of process that, this sort of unfathomable idea of death, that sort of lingers over all of our lives, and specifically with the both the wonders of modern medicine, but also its limitations, specifically with like being able to keep people alive long past their brains, is something that I think about a lot. I think about it with my parents. I think about it with myself. I think about it in the world. Um, so that was one inspiration, and that makes the play sound a lot graver than it is, I should say, because another inspiration is other members of my family that shall go unnamed uh, are these unbelievable parrot head Jimmy Buffett, like ex hippies, lived a whole professional life and are now going back to their hippiedom and going to music festivals and having, smoking weed with other 85-year-olds. And I think it's iconic. So those are the two inspirations that I kind of found. And I was like, how fun would it be to write this very small play about these two people who moved to Margaritaville to pursue their dream and realize that it's not quite what they thought it was going to be. That's what the play is asking, is like, you know, without any spoilers, that is a big conversation in the play of like, what does it mean to be kept alive? What is life? Right? And with so much that we know in the world, we know very little about the brain, and we know very little about dementia, even, and some long assumed science around dementia is actually being questioned. And but the play is also really not about dementia. It's so much as it is about anticipating, about like, how do I plan, how much can I plan, how much do I just need to pursue joy in this moment versus planning for the long run, how much are we in denial versus just living in the moment. um and what I ultimately believe, and I guess this is sort of a spoiler alert, is that like love and presence and kindness is kind of all we got, right? Even near the end. And I hope that the play ultimately isn't about how sad it is, but how life affirming it is to consider what life is and to be as mindful and thoughtful with ourselves and with our family members about what we want and how we want it while we still have this moment, right? I wrote the piece last year at Juilliard. It's my final year. I just graduated in May. So brought the piece in, and our two teachers uh, read it. I made them read it. I was like, "This is my last play," because it's just the group. It's 8 writers and 2 teachers, and that's really the whole program. So they read it in class, and it uh, was hugely illuminating. I learned what was working, what wasn't. I went back into it. I wrote a radically new draft. I blew the whole thing up, and then I shared that draft and got some amazing notes dramaturgically from the folks there at the festival, and kind of shrunk it back down into what I want it to be. And I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling that I'm so excited to get to hear actors and actors of an age and actors of these very specific, vibrant characters that I've created be able to advocate for their characters. And there's a lot of arguments in the play that are delicate and specific, and I'm excited to continue to develop it. Food. I'm ready for some biscuits. I'm ready for the biscuits. I've been to Greenville actually. I had a play that was produced at Furman University a couple years ago. So I've been to Greenville and I love Greenville. I love that it's this little lefty town and the, you know, up there in the hills, and great food, a real focus on culture and care. I love the minor league baseball stadium and the team and that whole sort of vibe. It's just a lovely place. And so I'm excited to spend the week there.